Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Beyond the Sewing Room. I'm Diane. So today I'm going to share a few plans with you, a few makes that I intend on making, and I am trying to go for more sort of plain, solid fabrics in these more recent makes. So that's something that I'm trying to aim for in my wardrobe to try and bring everything together. I've also got a couple of things, an old favourite that I've just fished out of my wardrobe and I can't believe why I haven't been wearing this. I've got the pattern here to show you, and I'll show you which sweater it is in a moment, and also a jacket that I mentioned in my previous video that I don't reach for much, even though I spent loads of time on it last year. I think I'm going to be doing something to it to make it so that I wear it more often. I think I've identified what the problem is with that one. So stick around and I'll show you these things coming up. So this past week has been a bit of a slow one for me because I injured my back at the start of last week. So that has really sort of put me out of business sewing wise, and what I was actually doing, and it's something that I do a lot and maybe it's not a good idea, is that I do tend to do all my cutting out on the floor. I haven't got enough room for a sewing table, a sewing cutting out table I should say, up here in my sewing room. And downstairs, the dining room table, you're also in an awkward position when you're cutting over a dining room table, plus it's not that big, but the main reason is you're stooped over. So I always find that kneeling, and I feel like I'm in a comfortable position, is the best way to do it. Now on this particular occasion, last Tuesday morning it was, so I got some work done on Monday, and then Tuesday morning I was cutting out a really big project for a man's suit, and I got all the pattern pieces cut out and I'd been knelt down there for quite a while, and I went to stand up and my back just cracked and it was awful. I could barely move and I couldn't get into standing position at first. I finally did manage to sort of get myself into sort of a stool position and make my way downstairs, and I ended up just sat in one position holding onto the kitchen table, sort of leaning forward for quite some time. I couldn't get out of that position. So yeah, it's been pretty rubbish. It's still hurting now. I'm trying to be really careful when I get up and out of a chair, and it has loosened off now, so I can sort of move around more freely. But up until yesterday, just every time I got up or tried to sit back down again, it was practically impossible. So that was from Tuesday. It's sort of been easing off. So where I am at the moment, it hurts. I'm moving around very slowly. I'm not doing any sewing today. I'm just trying to just take it easy. I'm cooking the dinner. It is a Sunday, and I'm just trying to leave things alone and make sure it's fully healed. So something that my husband's been up to, and I did mention this quite recently in a post that I did, that we've been thinking about how I could raise up the dining room table to make it more suitable for cutting on. Because I have mentioned before that I think this is probably not a good idea, me cutting out on the floor. And now it's been proven. Well, my husband has made these blocks today that are going to go under the dining room table legs. We'll have to do it with two of us there, so we'll have to do it before he leaves for work in the morning, on the days that I do all my cutting out, and leave it like that, and I'll cut out at the table and then we'll just remove them in the evening. So we've distinguished, or we've figured out, and I did this based on a post that I saw on Pinterest actually, the right height for you if you're cutting out should be 6 inches below your elbow. So if you're stood up, your elbow height, 6 inches below that is the table that should be the level of the table. So I wasn't sure if this sounded right. I consulted somebody else because I know that she's got her table lifted up, someone else that I know that sews, and it sounded right with the estimations. We're both about the same height. So we've tried it. He's made me these blocks. We've tried them under the dining room table, or he has. He's popped them under there and raised it up. We've removed them again now. It seems like it's going to be perfect. I just stood at it and it felt like I didn't really need to stoop or anything. It would just be perfect for cutting out. So that's what I'm hoping to be using this week when I get on with my work, when I get back to it. So I'll let you know how I get on with that. And then when I'm using it, I will take some pictures so you can see exactly what we've done. These are not a permanent fix. These are going to be something that is just placed there when needed, and then we will store them away after we're not in use. So that's that. So as I said, it's been a slow week. I have nothing to show sewing wise from this week, but I am going to show you some things that have been on my mind while I've been sat unable to do anything. So the first thing is I went in the wardrobe to just pop some things away the other day, and I did notice this sweater, and I can't believe I've not been wearing it, so I'm going to show it you now. So it's this sweater, and it fits in nicely with my theme of trying to go for more plains and solids. It is a black sort of charcoaly colour, but it's got this lovely fleck in the fabric. I'll try and bring it near without the camera going crazy. So it has this nice effect in the fabric. Now the sleeves, I've got these lovely drop shoulders, but with lovely pleats, look. And these are front and back on the sleeves. And then they go to a cuff, and it's just a straight bottom at the bottom of the sweater. Now I'll show you what pattern that is. Now I made this a couple of years ago. I don't know why it's been languishing in the back of my wardrobe, because I could have been wearing this winter. I think I completely forgot it was there. What I'm going to do, I'm pop it in the wash later on to give it a freshen up, and it's going to get worn this week. So I remember getting this. I think it was my friend that gave me this one out of a magazine, because she used to buy the sewing magazines. She used to have a subscription and she used to get a lot of these. And I remember when I got it, I used it, I thought it was really nice. It was a really nice design. So the one that I've made is this one here. So it's View D. And the funny thing with this one is also I ended up with two of it because I got given it twice. So 2 copies of this one. And actually my sweater does actually look like a little similar to the one in the image, because it looks like it's the same kind of fabric. So that's the one I made. So it's McCall's, and is there a number on that one? Yeah, 7721. And you can also make the t-shirt versions if you use different fabrics. So I'm really pleased that I found that out. So that's something I'm going to be wearing. As I said, pop that in the wash so it's had a freshen up, because it has been just stuck in the wardrobe all year. So that's the first thing, and that cheered me up, because sometimes when you do that, it's like finding a new item. It's like you've been shopping, isn't it? Because you find something that you've forgotten about. So that's the first thing. Now, the other thing I was going to show you is I have my Minerva brand ambassador make for this month. And I did choose a plain fabric. I chose a basket weave. So the fabric that I chose this month is this sort of basket weave. So it's a kind of canvasy fabric. It's nice and heavy. So I thought it was a nice change to using things like denim or just regular twill. So that's what I've gone for. It's quite hard to see design on it. Well, I say design, the weave in it. That's the fabric I've gone for. Ouch. And what I'm going to be using for this one is one that I've made before. So I'm going to make this version, but I'm not going to make it as short as that, because I won't wear it if it's as short as that. I'm going to make it just above the knee. So just above the knee, it's got a slight A-line shape. I'll show you the line drawing. So I made this one in a cotton, but it was sort of a chambray denim, a printed one. This one here, with a longer length, the buttons down the front, pockets and the belt loops. So that's what I'm going to be making with the black. So that will be another solid item for my wardrobe. And then in my previous video I did mention that I spent a lot of time on a denim quilted jacket that I made, and I've hardly reached for it at all. Now I have worn it a couple of times, but each time I wore it I didn't feel entirely comfortable in it. There was just something about it that didn't seem right. It felt like a bit overkill. It felt like there was too much jacket for me. I'm not that tall, I'm only 5'4". It just felt like it was swamping me a little, and it's a shame because I spent so much time on that jacket. So I'm going to show it you now. I'm going to show it you on. If you've followed me in the past for over a year now, you will have seen it before. And I spent ages just quilting all the pieces of denim, adding the wadding to the back. I've lined it, I've quilted the pockets. It's got a lot of work in it. The thing is, what I want to do is I want to make it shorter. And to make it shorter, it means I've got to completely take out the zip up the front, because obviously I need the pulley at the bottom. And that means taking it away from the facing, the front of the jacket, also where the pockets are placed in the jacket, the pockets will have to come off and be moved up. But if I'm not going to wear it, there's not much point in it sitting in the wardrobe as it is, so it might be worth just taking some of it apart and spending a little bit more time on it and then actually wearing it this year in the spring. So I'm going to show you that now. I'll show you on first as it is now. Now what I did use a Burda pattern which was supposed to be for a cardigan, but I changed it and I did my own style pockets. I did a zip which wasn't included and I lined the whole thing, so I've sort of changed it anyway. So here it is as it is. And I just feel that there's just too much. It's just too much, too long and boxy as it is. So I'll zip it up and show you. So you've got all of this. And it just feels like too much of a jacket. So as you can see, I've placed a pin, or maybe you can't. There's a pin placed here. And what I thought was, if I made it so that it was there in line with the pin, does mean I'm doing a lot of work, but still, as I said, if it's not being worn, I have spent a lot on it. Not money, but time. I'm thinking if I take it up to that kind of level, like this, that instantly doesn't look as old-fashioned. And it looks more wearable. I do need to take a little bit off the cuff as well, I think, just ever so slightly. My other thought was to put a rib inside, that might be nice, just poking out, like you would have on a bomber jacket, but just poking out from the inside of the cuff there. So this is my thought. Do it to this sort of length, so it's not right down here. So it's more of a jacket length rather than a coat length. But these, or maybe they could be left short. But I thought if I'm undoing it anyway, maybe take these off and just move them up ever so slightly so I'm not losing all that pocket. I just think that would look better. So we're taking off about this much. So what do you think? I just think that is too much jacket down to there, and I think it spoils it. I think it would be better up here, this sort of length, in line with my top. A few other things that I saw was another bomber jacket but in a neutral sort of fabric. It was not a beige, it was more sort of heading towards a gold. So it was sort of a warmer, much warmer than a beige really, but still quite neutral, and I really liked the colour. And then rather than the bomber jacket being in sort of a stretchy fabric, it was in a cotton like one that I've made before, and then it had proper pockets, and the pockets had like a stud button on, and that just gave it a little extra as well, and they were in gold and the zip was in gold. It was just really nice. It was a plain solid colour, but I did feel it would go with quite a few sort of spring, summer things if I was to make one in that kind of colour. So that's a thought. I will try and find an image of that again and pop it in here so you can see. I won't do mine exactly the same, but that was just an idea that I had. So that was another thing. I have decided if I make the spring anorak, the Kelly anorak, that will also be in a solid. I'm not going to go for a print after all. I made the decision on that one. So just a few things today. Sorry there's nothing to share this week, but I haven't done very much work-wise anyway, so sorry about that. But I will be back soon, hopefully, with more sewing makes for you. So please call back again. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe and leave a comment if you enjoyed this. Bye for now.